Thank you.
Read. She has a clip. Good. Just don't stop reading. Good.
Good afternoon and thank you for coming. My mom has 4 kids. We all have different dismissal times. My little sister is in preschool and she gets out at 11. My little brother is in TK and he gets out at 1:20. My little brother is in middle school, he gets out at 2:55, and I'm a junior. I get out at 4. My mom doesn't work anymore because she thought to herself, how would I manage my work and be able to pick up my kids on time? Especially because they have all different dismissal times. One day my mom, she had a dentist appointment and she was running late. My little sister had to wait in the office for an hour until my mom picked her up. The office was constantly calling my mom to see who was going to pick her up. My mom called different uncles and aunts, tios and tias to see who was going to help her pick up my little sister. No one could because they all had work to do and the work wouldn't let them pick up my little sister. That's when I thought to myself, is this a problem in our community? I went to my team and I told them what was going on.
So when Sandy addressed us about this problem, she told us the story of her sister, I related because around the same time, I had just gone to orientation at Valley Animal Center. I'd gone there with my mom because I was interested in actually doing some community service to get some credit. And so while I was there at the orientation, I discovered that there was going to be a lot of struggles that I was going to have to go through and a lot of loopholes that I had to jump through. One being that since I'm underage, I would need a parent or somebody over 18 to accompany me to actually do this community service. And then 2 being that in order to actually partake in the community service, take care of some of the dogs and the cats there, I would have to go through several training days in order to actually one day actually play with a cat or a dog. So when we came back together as a team, we realized, hey, maybe we can take 2 of these different problems and combine them into one solution.
This is what we thought to ourselves. How would we want to solve these problems? We're teenagers, we're going to have these problems soon. So how would we create a solution for this? This is when we created a nonprofit after-school program for students below the 1st grade that is also an elective class for high school students to earn community service. Hi, I am Sandy, CEO of Sotros.
I'm Anthony, I'm the CFO.
I'm Yamali, CIO.
Hi, I'm Sierra, I'm also co-CIO.
Hi, I'm Michael, I'm the CMO.
Hi, I'm Hazel, and I'm the secretary.
So how will this program work? In this program, these preschool, TK, and kindergarten students will be guided to school buses with a supervisor, and the school buses will take them to their local high school, where in the local high school, the supervisor will guide them to the classroom. In the classroom, there will be high school students to welcome them. In order for the high school students to earn community service, they will have to create lesson plans for the little ones. The lesson plans have to touch every subject, which is reading, writing, math, etc. And the lesson plans also have to be fun to have these kids more interactive and want to learn.
Now going on to our customers. So a group of customers that we have targeted are parents who struggle finding after-school care for their children. So these parents' children who are in preschool, TK, and kindergarten all usually get out extremely early, as the earliest being 11 in the morning and at the latest being at 1:50 in the afternoon. Also, these parents struggle financially with having to spend an average of $211 a week on daycare services. Another group of customers that we have targeted are high school students who are searching for community service hours. So most high school students are unaware that they need community service hours in order to graduate. And some high school students who currently work in community service do not enjoy what they are doing. And adding on to that, most high school students do not have the time due to conflicting high school hours and real-world problems.
So our market size. We have 72,455 students enrolled in Fresno Unified. We have 16,321 students enrolled in high schools and 7,245 students enrolled in preschool, TK, and kindergarten.
So now moving on to our competition. Our competition is indirect, and our first competition is Kids Care. So Kids Care is a program provided for preschool, toddlers, and grade school. And in this program, the parents have to pay a weekly tuition. And so even though if your child doesn't go that day of the week, you still have to pay, including holidays. And another competition we had were after-school programs. And the after-school programs are mostly provided for 1st through 6th graders. So they don't include preschoolers through kindergartens. And so these after-school programs only have limited spots, so you have to apply before the school year begins. And so when the spots are filled, and if your child wants to if your child wants to enter the after-school program, you have to pay a fee.
So moving on to what makes us unique. So the thing that makes us unique is we target parents, teens, and students. So the way we target our parents is by getting their kids and transporting them to their local high schools so they don't have to walk or do anything that's unsafe for them. And also another common problem that we didn't mention is that some parents don't speak English and they speak Spanish or a different language. So at schools, their kids will learn all English. So if they need help with homework or any type of thing that's school related, their parents can't help them. So this is where the teenagers come in. The teenagers can help them by going to their high schools and helping them with the lessons. So this is our social media. So this is where you can get information about what we are as a team and what we can offer you. And we also have posts in Spanish, so if you are one of those parents who only speak Spanish, this is where you can learn what we are.
So now going on to our website, the first thing we want our audience to feel when going onto our website is to feel happiness and calmness. That is why we chose our main colors to be turquoise and light green. Our logo is a tree, which represents education. The first thing that people would also see in our website is our slogan. It takes a community to raise a child. To us, this means that together as a community, we can help solve these two problems. That is where we got our name. Sotros is a Latin word that means together. Going down through our website, we also have 2 sections for high schoolers and parents so they can know more about how our program can help them. We also have a Meet Our Team section so people could read about who we are and how we are planning to help them. We also, at last, we have our footer. We have follow so people could follow us on our social media. We have our contact so people could contact us, and join so people could join our program.
So now moving on to our MVP event. So for our MVP event, there are 2 parts. The first part being we actually wanted to reach out to Fresno Unified. Since our program right now is very theoretical, we wanted to ask them if they would be interested in implementing a program like this, talking to them about if they have funding, if they had the resources to do a program. And then second of all, we wanted to reach out to McLean High School to be the first high school to implement a program like this. And we as a team decided that McLean would be the best option and be the first start for the program because since they have a teaching pathway there, the students in the pathway would be able to gain experience and gain a first-hand account of what they're going to be dealing with if they decide to go into teaching. And now for the second part, we wanted to go to different parent universities as well as attend different high schools here in Fresno. So at the parent universities, we would attend different elementary schools, talk to the parents at the parent universities, conduct surveys asking them if they would be interested in having their child be in a program like this, or asking them, hey, do you have a high school student, would they be interested in partaking in a program like this? And so for the high schools, we also wanted to do kind of the same thing there, going to the high schools, conducting surveys, asking the teenagers, would you be interested in a program like this, would this benefit you? And some other questions like that. So now the costs for the event. So the first one being the entertainment for the students. And that would mainly consist of incentives. Asking them, hey, can you fill out a survey for us? You'd get something in return. They'd fill out the survey, they'd bring it back, they would get something. And that would cost about roughly $20. And the treats for the parents, that's the same thing. They would get an incentive for filling out a survey for us, and it's a win-win situation. And that would also come out to about $20. So in total, about roughly $40 for both of those. So thank you. Any comments, questions, or concerns for us?
I'd like to start.
Okay.
First, can you put the screen back to your faces with your names so we can address you by name? I noticed you didn't put your titles next to that, and maybe that's still in flux. But I'm Josh Brewer, I also mentor here, and I'm introducing myself because I'm about to address you. So, did you share? I didn't see your part.
Yeah,
Okay.
competition.
Competition, that's right, okay. First of all, I want to say this. Excellent job. You guys memorized your parts so well. And there was a lot to it. You had a lot to say and a lot to memorize. You did a great job. I see a lot of good connective energy between this team. And this is the first nonprofit I've seen pitch. And I'm a president of a nonprofit. I founded a nonprofit. I understand nonprofits. And I want to tell you that nonprofits are very important. And that doesn't mean you don't have income, and it doesn't mean you don't have money that can buy things, do things, and move you around, even pay for salaries for you. So it's a noble cause, it's a great cause, and don't think down on yourself. This, basically what Incubator EDU has set up is more for profit. So you're trying to hit all these metrics, right, that are made for profit, and you're actually doing something that's non-profit. So it really doesn't fit to try to flesh that out. So use some grace for yourself and find your way through that, because there will be a different kind of a component coming here. That's okay. It's okay, because this is what's birthed in your heart. Now I'll go on to your pitch and your presentation and what the problem and solution are. This is very real, what you're addressing. It's very real, it's very necessary, and it's needed. When you talk about competition with like kitty care or something like that, there's no real true competition to a nonprofit. If you do it well and it works well and you find the collaboration, the thing is red tape, red tape, red tape. What that means is you're going to go through a lot of stuff trying to get school district, you're trying to get buses, you're trying to get permissions, you're trying to get insurance, you're trying to get things. You have a tough row to hoe in front of you, but you can do it. You can do it because it'll work. This thing is good and it's needed. So there is a people group that really wants this to work and needs it to work, and you saw it firsthand, Sandy, with your mother and your siblings and this dentist appointment, and that story lays it out very well. Then you saw about, okay, you are Sierra. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble getting everybody's names right on. But you saw how this community service aspect, needs to be incorporated, and that was a great marriage of two things that need something, bringing those together and finding something. I really, really appreciate your minds, your openness, your creativity to see that, but also be problem-solving oriented. So when it comes to this community service, it's genius to have high school students act as the people that are giving the caregiving. Also, having them put curriculum together, like you said, excellent idea. They're all being challenged. They could get so much experience with where they're going, especially if they want to move towards education already. So if the program is allowing them to create curriculum and they're getting some oversight guidance through mentorship that takes them into creating all of this, I see that you should have open doors. It'll just take a punch list of things that you've got to knock through to get there. When I said that kitty care is not really competition, because if somebody's not nonprofit, the one thing that you may run into is you're going to hurt for-profit local businesses when you take their people. Just be aware that politically, there's a little bit that'll go on there. Somebody somewhere is making money off of what you're trying to make a program, that's philanthropic, benevolent, They're not as altruistic. They're doing it for, other reasons. And so just know that that's there. And so thicken your skin for that too, that your, what you call competition, won't love that you're taking market share. But you guys did a great job.
Thank you.
Well, actually, I'm impressed. Considering that this is your first presentation to some people from outside of the school, I see very high self-confidence. You have the ownership. You believe in what you are saying. The story is a true story. I love the creativity you had, how you think out of the box and give solution, how you think to help the community. So it's not only to focus on your personal issue, but you would like to help others too. This is really important. And everyone focused in his certain area. I'm really impressed. This is really a very good job you did. And I just have a few questions. For these numbers which I saw, this is the only numbers you have, or you have something you didn't include in our presentation?
So are you talking about the market size?
I'm talking about the financials.
The financials?
Yes.
So since this is theoretical, like I told you earlier, it's kind of really hard to like put on an event like that. And so I think the money is more focused on the incentives, not so much as actually putting the thing on. So basically we just covered food and maybe some drinks, and that's essentially that all it covered.
Okay. And another question I like the website, how you have an initial design for it. So is it real website or just this is your expectation how it will be?
It's still in the process, but there's a lot of working to do. But this is how we wanted our website to kind of be.
Okay, great. So did you consider how you're gonna let people know about your project, your website, how you're gonna reach out to your customers?
Yeah, we're planning to either make social media accounts and then share our website through there.
Okay. So last question. Did you consider any of the potential risks you might face because we have teens, children, transportation? I mean, did you consider any of potential risk list and how you're gonna react if you have any of these issues?
Yes, and we did think of like the concept. So a lot of people did ask like, are you sure that parents are gonna let these things take care of these little ones? But we said, we thought to ourselves, we need to have a supervisor that is seeing that these high school students are actually doing the work and not just sitting there or on their phones. There's gonna be a supervisor seeing that they're actually helping these kids with their homework, helping them with the lesson plans.
Well, just last comment, it's not a question. Well, I just got some good news today that fingerprint work is done and I will have the pleasure to assist you in your project. My name is Sam and I think there is a lot to learn from you, indeed, a lot. And I will be very happy to cooperate with you in building more strong finance work on this, also in marketing. I'm working as a sales manager, so my experience is in sales and marketing, and I will be very delighted to help you about both these two. Of course, the overall project, which is really, it touched my heart, indeed, and I'm very excited. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
So my name is a trend here, by the way.
My name is Tom. First of all, I think you did a fantastic job with your pitch and presentation. I think starting it with a personal story that illustrates the problem and how you came about it, was, I immediately gave you credibility. Was a great start to it, and then from there you did a great job of explaining what it is that you're trying to accomplish. I mean, I think it's kind of a note. The problems that you've identified are definitely there. I'm certain that when you put your event together to confirm this, that you're going to confirm that, yes, there really is a need for this type of thing. I kind of have to agree. I think your biggest challenge is going to be figuring out, okay, how are we actually going to implement this? How are we going to make sure that the quality of the care that's being provided is good, and all the details and the financial stuff and things like that. But it sounds like you're already thinking about that. In general, it seems like you've really done a great job of thinking about the different aspects, even down to choosing McLean as the first school because they have a teaching path there. And I also want to echo the first gentleman's comments that what you're doing is good and noble as a nonprofit service. You're definitely meeting a need in the community. I was on the president of the board of directors for a pretty big local nonprofit that provides services to children 0 through 5. And I can tell you there's definitely a need out there for that type of thing. There are funds out there for that type of thing. That's how that organization was largely funded. And I'm guessing there are other organizations in the community that might have shared interests with what you're trying to accomplish that might be willing to help you out as well. So I would look for, partnerships in that area. Thought your branding was good, your slogan is good. Again, in general, I think everything you said is great. I do think you have some hard work ahead of you in actually figuring out the next steps of implementing it, but it's definitely worth it, so keep at it. Great job.
Thank you.
Well, I was pretty impressed. I'm Mark Jackson. I am a kind of a serial entrepreneur. I've started 10 different businesses, and I have a nonprofit that I own as well as for-profit companies. And I think it's a really good concept, and it seems to me that what's going to happen, I would think, is that Fresno Unified, or any unified school district, is going to find that this is potentially a good program, and your MVP event probably prove that out. I agree there's going to be, I remember, it's been a long time, but I remember it was like trying to coordinate all of this stuff, and so I think there's a real need for it, and I think if you could show the process and how this can be implemented in Fresno Unified or any school district, that you're going to find that there's money available. As he mentioned, there's going to be grant money or other monies available, because there's probably going to be some economics that bear out that are going to show that it benefits the community greatly to allow this to happen. More people are going to be able to work because they won't have to be so concerned about their children and what's going on. And the high school students will get relative experience right inside the high school and not have to go someplace off campus, and the kids will have a good place to go. I mean, there's logistics. How do you get them all there by the bus system? But they already know how to move buses around. So I think it's a really good idea. I was really impressed by how well you did the presentation. It was well done. I thought your slide deck was good. I think the layout of your website's good. I think you have a lot of potential. I think this could become I'm hoping you guys all continue to pursue this, because I think you'll find a lot of acceptance throughout the whole, through the community, through the school district and everything. I think you'll see a lot of acceptance of this. And if that happens, you won't have to get the word out there, because it'll become a standard part of what Fresno Unified does. It's just going to be part of the program for after-school kids, and everybody's going to know about it. So it's a neat concept. Have you guys actually talked to anybody like Fresno Unified or anything about this, or about the concept? Or?
Yeah, we wanted to conduct the surveys first to see if it's a real problem.
Sure.
So the first thing we have right now is that we will go to Prairie University and just middle school on a Friday to see first if these parents are having this problem, and then after that we want to go to McLean and see if the teens are interested too.
Yeah, well, I guarantee you're going to find people who have this problem. If the economics work out especially, and he is right, you are going to be competing against for-profit entities that address this, but having it be a well-thought-out program inside the school district, I think gives it a lot of merit and a lot more potential. It seems like you can really make a go at this. You guys did a great job in the presentation. So related to the money, sometimes it's better to get a little bit more detailed information about how you're going to carry out your MVP event. But also, to me, there's a lot of things you got to figure out, and the actual program itself, thinking about what's involved economically and carrying out the program itself, and maybe mind mapping just exactly how it would work would be helpful to people who you'd be asking for money from. But I'll guarantee you there's grant money available to figure this out. That means a lot of money, probably. So, it's a really good job, guys. Great job.
Thank you.
My name's Kevin. I own a couple restaurants in town and also my own farmer's agency, so I always go to liability. Everyone's giving you really good feedback. I'll give you good feedback, or your ability to pronunciate out loud, speak in front of people is really good. So good job there. Don't forget to breathe when you're up there and you're talking, you believe in your stuff. I don't know if they're telling you guys not to walk around, but I think it's cool if you walk around, if you want to have images up there and kind of show us what you're doing. maybe get a pointer if that helps. Pictures are good for us because we don't know everything, and a picture will speak louder than what you're even trying to portray. Some things I'll just bring up. I think you really need to think about costs. I get the idea of it being a small fee that you're doing. So I was thinking about me listening to your concept. How would I buy into it? And my challenge is, how would I even know about it as a parent? I mean, so it would have to be integrated into the school and the orientation of the kid. Do you want this program to pick up your kid if this happens, right? And then, well, there's an emergency at the restaurant, my wife can't pick up the kids, I'm not available. That might happen at 1:20. I mean, unless you're planning on having a bus or a car at every school ready to pick up kids and take them to your facility, there could be some logistical issues with that. However, I loved what you had to say. I think even if it's taking the kids at high school to the elementary school for a couple hours at that school to help English as a second language parents would be absolutely awesome. So that right there was huge. I think that's really great and very, very needed in our community. Not by lack of desire, just lack of ideas and execution. So you have a huge mountain to climb in that. I wrote down on mine, you guys will see it's a ton of questions on here. But point A to point Z, just essentially think about it from a parent all the way down to the person picking up the kid. Get an Excel spreadsheet and then just hit it. And then just copy and paste, cut in, just all the way down. On the right side of that, the item, time, cost, and fees, just everything. The gentleman over there, I'm sure, is going to break all that down for you. So you can always add in and subtract. You know, you're not just going to go get sodas and just going to pick up food. That's what we do with our families. Like, hey, we're going to go to the baseball game and hang out. So-and-so, you know, what can I bring? That's not going to be what happens 5 days a week. So you're going to think about those fees and costs and absorb that somehow to be able to provide. Because if you go to the school and you're given a paper, well, I donate money to teachers to buy paper because the school's making teachers buy some of that stuff. So you're not going to necessarily get paper for free. I know if you have I have a 5-year-old, no, I have a 7-year-old. A 7-year-old who wouldn't just, I missed it by a couple of years. I'm pretty, that was embarrassing, sorry. He's gonna not just sit there and be nice and be quiet. Your high school students will run out of the room screaming unless you have something for him to do, right? And so you want to think about games and, you know, just slow down, put yourself in this scenario one step at a time. Overall, though, great presentation. I love the idea. I hope you can figure out the logistics behind it. My suggestion would be, and I'm sure the gentleman over here seems extremely smart, try to get the high school students to the school that needs it or accepts the program. I would think that would make more sense because they may even drive, so then the transportation isn't an issue. The timing will be an issue. Your scenario would be extremely hard to manage, from what I recall. Because you have to have somebody there to pick up that child at that time and the parent's approval prior to it happening. Because the school told me some random person just picked up my kid because of a program, I'm gonna flip out, right? Like if it was your kid. So just think of it that way, and if you're able to overcome those things, congratulations, great idea, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.